Let us not forget everything that happens. It's by the will of Allah. Holy will. It's time to unite and stand, and we will be the best amongst men. It's not time to be extreme or duty unthinkable, but to stand together as one. Tune into Sooner followers, stream it every day, various platforms. Trust me, you'll find a way. Sooner followers. Open your eyes and look around. Open your eyes. Very things that you read about coming true. Don't you realize the moments are near? Correct yourself in your affairs. He has made it crystal clear. These are the signs of the time. Assalamu alaikum. Sooner followers, new class, stay tuned. Signs of the times.
Hadiths for the night. The signs of the last hour. Everybody's cool? Okay. All right, so let's get started. Let me put the PowerPoint up on the screen because we're going to go over some of the signs of the last hour as presented to us by the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Let me open up my PowerPoint and let me first start off by sharing it with the people here in Zoom. Hold on. You guys can see this one. And now for you guys on YouTube, here I come with it. Oh, last hour 3. Okay, can you guys see this? Okay, put it there. All right. Okay, so tonight we're going to speak about how there's so many signs of the last hour that our Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam warned us of. In fact, the scholars of the Hadith have categorized them, have put them into different categories. I'm going to review why they did that, and then I'm going to begin speaking about the different categories of the signs of the last hour. Okay? So let's make sure you guys take a screenshot of this. Okay, and let's go to the beginning of it. Okay, many hadith have been narrated in which the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam listed the signs of the last hour. And most of the hadiths that I am giving to you, in fact, almost all of them are from Bukhari and Muslim, because I try to give you the authentic stuff that no one can come back and try to argue with me about. Okay? Because that's the thing. We're living in the days of fitan that is the Prophet warned about, whereas a lot of ignorant ruwaybida, people who have no knowledge, no understanding of Islam, they want to call the people of knowledge out. Well, I try to give, I believe in making you look like you got egg on your face. So I'm dealing with the most authentic. So you can't come back and refute me. Okay? So I'm going to go over some of the hadiths in which the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam listed several signs of them. Remember last time we met, we talked about the ayah and the ashra, how that refers to indicators. Our Prophet Muhammad gave us many indicators as to when the last hour will come. Only Allah knows what time exactly. But there are certain events that will occur that lead up to it. For example, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the last hour will not come until 2 large groups of people will fight one another, and a great number of those people will be killed, and they'll all be fighting over the same thing. Okay. Also, in another hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said another indicator or another ayat or another ashra. Remember those words we used last week? Which means indicator. Another indicator that the last hour is near will be 30 lying impostors. They will raise their heads and they will all claim to be prophets of Allah. They will claim to be messengers sent by Allah. Can you recognize if these signs have already happened? Also, another indicator that the last hour is near, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, true knowledge of the religion will disappear. Has that happened already? Oh, yeah. Knowledge will disappear with the death of the true scholars. Look how many scholars we've lost since 2000. And look how messed up of a nation we are since their death. Okay? Also, another indicator of the last hour, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, will be earthquakes will become frequent. Subhanallah, we just had an earthquake here in America in a place unexpected, the East Coast. Oh yeah, was that a sign? Oh yeah. Also another sign will be that time will pass quickly. Oh my God. Can you guys believe that here it is, June already? And we were just fasting the winter of Ramadan. Subhanallah. Also another indicator that the last hour is close will be trials and tribulations will be so many. Murder will increase. Oh, yeah. Also, money will become so widespread and will increase so much that a rich man will not even know who to give his charity to. And the person he offers it to will say, I don't need it. Now, I can tell you that all of these signs I have mentioned so far have already happened. They've already happened. They've already happened, and we'll review them later. Also, another indicator, the prophet said the people will compete in building tall buildings. Oh, yeah. Who's competing? The Arabs. The Arabs have so much money. They don't know what to do. So the Saudi Arabia, the Emirates, Kuwait, Bahrain, they all compete to see who can build the largest building. You got the Kuwaiti towers. You got that thing in the Emirates, Subhanallah, which is the largest. Also another sign. The prophet said a man will walk past a grave and say, oh, I wish I could trade places with that person. Oh, yeah, this is already happening. How many times do we see people say that or hear people say that they wish they were dead? It's so bad. Life is so bad. I wished I was dead so I wouldn't have to deal with it. And also, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said an indicator that the last hour is near will be that the sun will rise from the west. And when the people see it rise, they will all claim La ilaha illallah, but it will be too late. Now that sign has not yet happened. Out of all the things mentioned here, all of this has either already happened or is happening. Also, we have another hadith, also from Imam Bukhari's collection. Ibn Malik, he said, I came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam during the campaign of Tabuk, and he was in a leather tent. It was a red leather tent. And he said to me, Ibn Malik, count 6 things that will happen just before the hour. My death, the conquest of Jerusalem, then widespread death, which will come upon you like murrain in sheep, and then an abundance of money, so much so that if a man is given 100 dinars, he will remain angry and discontent. And then a trial and tribulation that will be so great that it will not leave any home amongst the Arabs untouched. And then a truce between you, the Arabs, and the Romans, which they will break. And they will come to you with 80 flags, under each of which will be 12,000 troops of their army. Here's my hadith. And again, this is Sahih Bukhari. Here we can see in this hadith, the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam mentioned things that would happen before the last hour. And it began with his death. And we all know the Prophet Muhammad died. And we already know that under the Caliphate of Umar, the Muslims conquered Jerusalem. Like I told you guys, what's going on in Gaza, this is nothing new. The Prophet said in another hadith that all the fitna that will impact this nation will arise from Jerusalem and Syria. So this ain't nothing new. Okay? The Muslims took back Jerusalem under the Caliphate of Umar. So that already happened. And then the Prophet said death will come upon everyone. And people will have so much money that you won't know what to do with it. That too happened under the Caliphate of Umar, guys. When Umar radiallahu anhu was the Caliphate over the Muslims, and I can't wait for Mukhtar to do his story. The Muslims had so much money because the Muslims defeated the Romans and they defeated the Persians. And they had so much money that they didn't have anyone to give zakat to. Okay? And also the death that will come upon them, leaving no house unturned. That was the war that happened between the companions after the murder of Uthman radiallahu anha, when the companions divided and they began their own civil war through the beckoning of the Kharijites. And every home in Medina, there was not one person in Medina who didn't lose somebody. So that already happened. This is what we're waiting to happen now. A truce between the Muslims and the Romans, meaning the Christians. When we say, when you come upon the Arabic term of Bani al-Asfar, the tribe of the Romans, this is also referring to the Christians, because back then the Romans were Christian. They represented Christianity, and the Romans were trying to establish Christianity as the religion of the world. So Bani al-Asfar refers to the Christians. So here the prophet said an agreement will occur between you, Muslims, and the Romans, which the Romans will break the agreement, and they will come to you with 80 flags. What are the 80 flags? The United Nations. And each one of those nations will have 12,000 troops to fight against you. This is the war against Islam. This is where we are today. Y'all see this? All this other stuff already happened, or either it is happening. The next thing to happen is this war. And we're going to talk more about this in another class. Also, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, among the signs of the last hour will be obscenity and obscene actions. We know this is true. This is the hip hop culture. Women walking around naked. If you don't look like Cardi B, if you don't look like Nicki Minaj, Beyonce, naked. Sex. It's all about sex, baby. Obscene actions. You can't even turn on the TV without seeing sex. And the severing of family ties. Look at us today. We can't even get along with our family members. Look how many girls sell their fathers out because their fathers won't agree to allow them to marry a man that he knows is a loser. So you will sell your father out and cut the tie with him just to be with some loser. Also, the prophet said the trustworthy, the people of the truth will be accused of being liars. Oh, yeah. And the dishonest people will be trusted. This is the Ruwaybida. We're there right now. The people that's teaching true Islam, you want to get banned. You got me banned. Oh, yeah. I got banned off of TikTok. I didn't get banned off of TikTok by non-Muslims. I got banned off of TikTok by Muslims who reported me, claiming that I was some fanatical, crazy woman because I'm teaching the true Islam. I'm teaching that Allah didn't oppress women, that Allah elevated us. I'm teaching that Islam is not based on a fatwa, that Islam is not based on a madhab. So I was accused of being a liar. I was accused of being this, and I got banned off of TikTok. But look at the true innovators. Look at the true liars. They're not banned. Y'all believe what these famous personalities are telling y'all about Islam. Okay. So here you can see this stuff already is happening. These are things that are going on right now as we speak. Also, in another hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, among the signs of the hour will be that a man will walk past the mosque and will not pray 2 rakats there. And a man will only give salams to those whom he knows. Oh gosh, this is happening every day. The mosques are not filled with men at all. How many of you even go to the mosque? And when you do go, how many of you pray those 2 rakats before you sit? You can go to a grocery store, see a Muslim there and say, Assalamu alaikum, and they just ignore you. Unless the person knows you, they don't return the greeting. And in another hadith, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, among the signs of the last hour will be that the people will try to outdo each other in building mosques. All of these hadiths are authentic. What is the purpose in having 10 mosques on the same street? Why is it that we got 100 mosques in the same city? It's because people competing. They trying to outdo each other in building a mosque. You want your mosque to be bigger. You want your mosque to be better than that mosque over there. These are all signs of the last hour. And all of these things I mentioned today are already happening here. All of these hadiths are already happening today. So as you can see, guys, I use these hadiths for a reason, because all the signs that the Prophet listed there in those hadiths can be divided into 2 categories, either minor signs or major signs. The minor signs can also be divided into 2 categories. Either they are things that already happened, or they are things that have not yet happened. In regards to other things that's already happened, are those that have happened and gone. Okay? And there are some signs that may happen more than once. There are some signs that will happen slowly. And there are other signs that will happen repeatedly. And some of the things which have happened in the past can happen again in the future. And I'm going to break this down because what I'm going to do is divide all of the signs into 4 categories. All the signs of the last hour that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam shared with us can be divided into 4 categories. The minor signs that have come and gone, we're going to cover those signs beginning today. And then the second category are the minor signs which have happened and are still happening. And then the third category are the minor signs that have not yet happened. And I can tell you, all the minor signs have happened. They've already happened. And then the fourth category are the major signs. And when the major signs begin, that's when you know that it ain't much time left. Like I said, all of these minor signs have already happened. We're waiting for the next sign, which is that war, which is in the process of happening now. Looking at what's going on in Africa today, how the African countries have called in Russia, the Muslim countries have called in Russia, and how Russia's running America out of there, and America's trying to hold peace talks with UK and Australia and Canada and all that nonsense. We can see that those 80 nations coming together is going to happen pretty soon, probably when Trump get in. Okay? So today what I want to do, just before I end, we're going to begin to speak about 2 of the signs that have already happened. And then when I meet for this class again, I'm going to go over other signs that the prophet told us of, and you will see that they all have happened too. Okay, so we're going to start with the first that the prophet mentioned, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, which was his death. We have the hadith of Ibn Saud. He said, I saw the prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam gesturing with his fingers, the middle and the finger which is next to the thumb. And he said, the last hour have been sent like this. I and the last hour have been sent like these 2. And this hadith is authentic. Also in Bukhari and Muslim, Ibn Malik says, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I am and the last hour have been sent like these 2, like the difference between the one and the other. And he held his forefinger and his middle finger up together. And in the books of Sirah, it's narrated that the Jews, believe it or not, guys, the Jews used to say that when the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam comes, he will come with the last hour. Remember, we talked about how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said every prophet that Allah sent warned his people of the Antichrist. Every prophet that Allah sent warned their people of the last hour. Well, the Jews believed that whenever the Prophet Muhammad would occur, the last hour would come with him. Listen to this hadith. Again, the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said it begins with my death. When my death comes, know that that's when we'll mark that it's not too far off from the last hour happening. Imam Ahmed narrated this in his book, that Abu Jubairah, he said that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, I have been sent in the heralding breeze of the hour. What does this mean? Well, Ibn al-Athir Ibn al-Athir, he explained that the heralding breeze refers to the gentle breeze in which the wind starts. So the prophet was saying, I have been sent at the beginning of the signs of the last hour. So here's my dalil. Here's my dalil when I tell you guys that the death of the Prophet Muhammad marked the beginning of the signs of the last hour. And we talk about ijazah. We talk about ijazah. We talk about ijazah. If I was to put mine in there, mine would include Ibn al-Athir. Okay? My teachers take it from all the way up to that and past. Okay? Also, so that was the beginning. The death of the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, his death marked the beginning of the signs of the last hour. His death was an ashrat. Remember, we talked about that last week. An indicator, an ashrat, an ayat, an indicator of the signs of the last hour. And also another sign of the last hour that already occurred was the splitting of the moon. And you guys should be familiar with this because my cousin Mukhtar talked about it. This is one of the miracles of the Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And all the scholars of hadith are unanimous in this. The moon was split during his time. And even Allah mentions it. Allah says, in the interpretation of the meaning, the hour has become close and the moon has been cleft asunder. And if they see a sign, they turn away and they say, no, this is just magic. You guys know the story. When the Quraysh asked the Prophet Muhammad to prove that he was a prophet by causing the moon to split, and they swore that they would take on him as the messenger of Allah. This was one of the major miracles, as Imam An-Nawawi said, that Al-Khali said. The splitting of the moon was one of the major miracles of our prophet. And this has been narrated by many of the companions, as well as that verse of the Quran. Al-Zajjaj said, some of the deviating innovators denied it. And believe it or not, guys, we still got people who call themselves Muslims today who deny the splitting of the moon. They say that Allah didn't split the moon, but instead Allah blinded their hearts. Okay, this is not true. The moon actually did split. So that's an example of one of the signs that already occurred, the splitting of the moon. We also have in Imam Muslim's collection, the people of Mecca asked the prophet, here's my dalil of the story. The people of Mecca asked the prophet to show them a sign. So he showed them the splitting of the moon, not once, but twice. As Ibn Masud says, the moon was split into two halves at the time of the prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And when it was split, the prophet said, bear witness, bear witness. It split it when they were with the prophet in Mina. One half was behind the mountain. The other half was in front of it. And the prophet told the companions to bear witness. Hadiths. This is also another one of the signs of the last hour. And we're going to talk about it in another class. One of the signs of the last hour is the sunnah will disappear. Now y'all see why I'm a stickler for hadith. One of the signs of the last hour is the prophet said there will appear amongst you many men who will be able to sing the Quran beautifully, but it'll never go past their throats. They'll never understand what they're saying because they won't know the hadiths. They won't know what I said. They won't know what I did. They won't know what my companions thought. And these men will issue Islamic verdicts. They will issue fatwa that goes against what I said, that goes against what Allah says, that goes against what the companions thought. And the people will follow them. They will follow them to the hellfire. Subhanallah. The hadiths are everything. You young brothers ask me, how can I explain things so well? This is my specialty. Everybody has a specialty. Sheikh Saud, he's an Islamic scholar, but he'll tell you his specialty is Quranic science. Okay? Dr. Asim, he has several PhDs, but he'll tell you his specialty is Quranic science. Dr. Dramali, he has PhDs in Islamic jurisprudence, hadith and all that too. He'll tell you that his specialty is Aqidah. Layla Nashiba, my specialty is Aqidah and Hadith. Period. Dot. Okay? You will never understand that this religion, like the Prophet said, until you learn the Hadiths.